Well, to shed more light on this, we have the pleasure to have with us over the phone our dear guest, Dr. Raouf Gaafar, the political analyst. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, my dear.
Well, Dr. Gaafar, now how are you following as a political analyst this situation in the Middle East and in Lebanon with thousands of rockets in exchange between Hezbollah and Israel and civilians leaving their homes in Lebanon and 492 killed in Lebanon until now?
Pathetic situation. Very sad situation. The Prime Minister of Israel apparently has gone really mad, if I can say that. He cannot stay in office unless he keeps on searching for wars in every direction. And now, unfortunately, it's the turn for Lebanon. He has been bombarding the south of Lebanon and even Beirut. And he doesn't seem to care about the number of casualties, the number of victims, the number of children, women that suffer. So, again, something undescribable. One cannot find words to describe what this person is doing to this area. And what makes us even more and more sad is that apparently nobody can stop him. And what amazes us is that the United States they keep supplying him with more arms, as if they are happy with what he's doing. I mean, a very complex situation. Really, one cannot understand what is happening or can speculate what can happen tomorrow.
Yes, yes. Dr. Gaafar, concerning Gaza, for 1 year now, war between Gaza Strip, Palestinians and Israel. Palestine or the Gaza Strip is in a besieged strip, or it's in an enclave. But as for Lebanon, it's a country opened from the borders and could receive any support or weapons or whatever. So how do you see the danger also of this in making this war all-out war or a bigger scale war and expanding this military operations and making the situation worsened to a all-out war in the region?
Well, I mean, the guy is extending it already. I mean, he turned Gaza, most unfortunately, into ruins. Now there's no more Gaza. The Gaza we used to know does not exist anymore. And to return back to what it was, it needs very, very long years. So now that he's finished with the Gaza, he's turned to the north. And as you said, even though Lebanon is an open country and can receive maybe help and support from anywhere else, it is very unfair to compare the power that Israel has to the power that Hezbollah has. So, I mean, this is an uneven war to which Israel has all the advantages.
Yes.
That is why we don't understand, except, as I said before, that the future of the Israeli Prime Minister is jeopardized. He's threatened by jail if he leaves his office. So he is trying to extend his stay in the office as long as possible,
Yes.
No matter the cost.
Yes.
And this is really, as I said, it's completely intolerable and unacceptable, and represents a breach of all international laws and
Yes.
human rights and UN constitution. So I hope, once again, that he comes back to his senses, which I doubt, but again, he must be forced.
Yes.
And the only power who can force him, we know who, and so far they have been helping.
Yes,
and not,
Dr. Gaafar, concerning today the 79th session of the General Assembly of the United Nations today, during which leaders and presidents and kings of most of the world countries spoke, and actually our Foreign Minister Badr Abdelati is there also to deliver Egypt's word before the session of the Assembly, and also on the sidelines he made several meetings. If we stop for the words delivered by the Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan or King Abdullah II of Jordan, we can see that they are really seriously warning of the expanding of the situation or the escalation that is taking place in the Middle East and in Lebanon, and the situation taking place and threatening of full-scale war in the region. And also King Abdullah II said that what's happening in Gaza Strip shows that no one is abiding by the charter of the UN. How did you follow this today?
I mean, did they ever, I'm talking about Israel, abide or follow or listen or any UN resolutions over the years? I mean, we don't seem to learn. They have been breaching all the resolutions, and they have never abided to any for decades and decades. So why they should today? I don't think they will. The United Nations will keep on issuing statement after statement. General Assembly is even weaker than the Security Council, and the Security Council has issued a few decisions earlier that this war has to stop and the ceasefire has to be reached, etc., when Israel was simply destroying, unfortunately, Gaza. So now I am not hoping much about what the United Nations can do, but let us hope. I mean, we all pray that something drastic happens and changes the situation.
Yes.
But we have to repeat, this is a country that has never respected or abided to any resolution from the United Nations, so
Yes.
I don't think they will now.
Yes. Today, as Foreign Minister Badr Abdelati is in New York also to attend the 79th General Assembly session in the United Nations in New York. On the sidelines he met with officials and he called on heavy weights, global heavy weights, to stop the Israeli aggression on Lebanon and settle the crisis peacefully. And he said that despite what's happening, there are still a way also for a diplomatic solution. How did you read this?
I'm sure all wars end with diplomatic solutions, but I mean, when will it end? This is the point. I'm sure one day we will have recourse to diplomatic solutions, but when? This is the question that has to be answered.
Yes.
We know Egypt is putting pressure and
yes.
is
He meant that
all
it's
efforts.
still under control. The situation could be under control and could be
Of course,
solved.
at any
Yes.
point of time.
Yes.
If Israel gets to its senses, everything can stop in a second. But apparently, as I said, the Prime Minister is taking it personal, and as long as he is putting his future on one side and the war on the other, he will always lean to his future. So, I mean, we are admiring the efforts that Egypt is putting. We are admiring, of course, all the efforts that other Arab leaders and foreign leaders are doing. But again, it has to be a super pressure that is exerted on Mr. Netanyahu himself, so that he stops what he is doing and his atrocities. The earlier the better, of course, for everybody in the area.
Yes. So the strikes and the missiles exchanged, rockets between Hezbollah and Israel is, of course, threatening civilians in both countries and in both sides, of course. How do you see this also, the negative side on the civilians leaving, and not only in Lebanon, also we see historical suffering. The Palestinians have suffered for 1 year now, for 12 months now of war in the besieged Gaza Strip.
I mean, the comparison is completely unfair. Comparing the type of weapon that Israel is using to the very primitive, I mean, missiles, or what you call them missiles, that the other parties have.
Homemade or something, yes.
Hamas, down south, or Hezbollah. So if they are threatening Israel, maybe somebody gets hurt here or there, but you are talking hundreds of people that were killed, massacred in Gaza, and now they are doing the same in Lebanon. I mean, we're talking thousands of people that are between dead and injured. This afternoon, the health authorities in Lebanon said that the health system is breaking down because they can't handle the big numbers of injured people.
Yes.
So I mean, this is turning into a crisis, a humanitarian crisis, and apparently Israel enjoys to see around it humanitarian crises and people suffering from lack of treatment, and so I mean, again, one is very sad when we talk about the situation, and we are very frustrated because we pray that someone puts enough pressure on Israel to stop its atrocities and bombardment, and look at how many raids they have made over the south of Lebanon, by the tens and the hundreds every day, and this is something completely inhuman, and against all human laws and all, I mean, UN resolutions or constitution. So let's pray and hope that something happens, an act of God maybe, or something. I don't know.
Yes, I thank you very much for your time. Thank you for your valuable information, Dr. Raouf Gaafar, political analyst. Thank you very much for joining us over the phone. Ladies and gentlemen, a short break, and I'm going to be back with you.